Top 10 Manhwa with OPMC. If you are a fan of action-packed storylines and powerful main characters, then these manhwa are definitely worth checking out. From magical abilities to superhuman strength and beyond, these characters have it all and use their powers to overcome obstacles and achieve their goals. One of the things that sets manhwa apart from other types of comics is the unique art style. Many manhwa feature colorful, detailed illustrations that really brings the story to life. Whether you are into fantasy, action, romance, or a mix of genres, there is a manhwa out there for you. So if you're looking for some new manhwa to dive into, be sure to check out our top 10 list. Starting off with our number 10, Secretly Cultivate for 1,000 Years, Chapter 58. Being reincarnated in a cultivation world, Hanju realizes that he can live his life like a video game. He re-rolled his cultivation potential and connate providence. In pursuit of longevity, Hanju decides to cultivate in a low-profile manner. 1,000 years later, generation of cultivators have become history. That is when the immortals start cleansing the mortal world. Hanju can no longer hide and must do something about it. This manhwa is one of the best in the cultivation genre. The main character has a system but still needs to make money and is smart and low-key. There are comedic elements and the side characters are well written. Not like typical courting date stories though. The art is pleasing and there is good novel to go along with it. All fans of cultivation manhwa should give this one a try. Number 9. Surgical Swordsman Chapter 84. A gifted medical student gets time travel and arrives at a world ruled by martial arts. Surgical Swordsman is a martial arts manhwa in which the main character starts out weak but becomes overpowered through cultivation. The art is good and the fight scenes are decent. While the reader may have enjoyed the story, if they had been able to continue reading, the poor translation was a hindrance. If the translation doesn't bother you, you may still enjoy this manhwa. Number 8. Planewalker of the Stigma Chapter 10. Talented engineering professor Woo was fired from the research center he worked at all his life and was kidnapped by a mystifying light, only to be dropped into a mysterious world. Engineering professor Woo was approached by an entity that called himself a god with no face and was forcibly given a blue stigma. In this new world, individuals with blue stigmas are hunted, while the ones with red or crimson stigmas are considered the hunters who seek out their prey. Will Woo with his blue stigma be able to survive as one of the hunted? I will be your strength, so lend me your body. To make matters worse, Ashclave, a strange slime-like individual appeared. Together with the Archmage Ash and the imagination and monster-like bodies of the engineers, they start the war against the red stigmas. Number 7. The Evolution Chapter 17. 12 alien destroyers turn into meteoroids and hit Earth, bringing with them an unknown zombie virus and setting off a global crisis. The evolution zone appeared on Earth and people with special powers, known as power users, began to emerge. Wangzi, who died in battle, was reincarnated 10 years in the past. He decides to use his memories and strength from the previous life to become the strongest evolutionary. This manhwa, similar to The Last Human, follows a storyline that isn't particularly original but is executed very well. There are no annoying side characters or over-sexualized dumb female characters in this story so far. The main character also has a cool personality. The art is decent and the fight scenes between humans can become quite gory at times. There are minor grammar mistakes in the translation, but they don't significantly impact the overall understanding of the story. Overall, it is a decent post-apocalyptic manhwa. Number 6. Plunder the Sky Chapter 70. Feng Zheng is a part of a gang of outlaws stealing from the wealthy and aiding the poor. The martial artist assaults their hideout one day, leading to the death of all his companions, leaving Feng Zheng as the sole survivor. This inspires him to embark on a pursuit of martial arts, hoping to exact revenge someday upon the person responsible. Differentiating itself from the other cultivation manhua, the pacing of its plot is quite impressive and the art is good as well, with his fight scenes looking quite realistic. The protagonist appears to be a young boy, acting innocently and immaturely at times but gradually maturing as the story progresses. Supplementary characters tend to be introduced late, but they make a lasting impression. The world building is also quite interesting. Moving on to our number 5, The Descent of the Demonic Master, Chapter 141+. Jinho Kang used to be an average teenager before an accident took away his family and his ability to walk. After reincarnating in medieval China, he becomes the demon master known as the Crimson Emperor. When his life is tragically cut short, he wakes up back in his previous life before the accident and with his powers and martial arts prowess intact. All Jinho wants is to live a normal life, but he soon realizes that monsters exist even in the modern world and only he can stop them. Of course, it might be a little boring and slow to pick up at the beginning, but once the secretary arrives, that's when everything becomes funny. It's honestly a nice break from reading mangas filled with dramatic battles from the beginning to the end. You get your dose of satisfaction from the awesome battle scenes and the reaction he gets from being OP. I definitely recommend this. Number 4. The World After the Fall, Chapter 52+. I highly recommend reading this series for its unique blend of multiple genres and the creation of a new fantastical world full of both beauty and horror. The writing and art are exceptional and deserve recognition as some of the best in the industry. This series truly stands out for its originality and execution of a brilliant concept. The world building in this series is incredible, with the author expertly weaving together different elements to create a fully realized and immersive fantasy setting. The characters are also well developed and engaging, making it easy to become invested in their stories and root for their success. Overall, this series is a must-read for anyone who loves unique or well-crafted fantasy stories with a touch of horror. Number 3. I Get Stronger the More I Eat, Chapter 80+. This story stands out from the rest, with the main character who can take on the powers of any creature he eats. His development and interaction with his comrades as they battle together creates an engaging narrative. Additionally, he is a villain in a genre where protagonists are very common. The series is split into 3 parts: the growth arc, where he adjusts to his fantasy world, the war arc, where he fights the Demon King and the hero, and the exploration arc, where he discovers new creatures to absorb. If you are a fan of fantasy, isekai, or overpowered protagonists, this manhwa is a definite must-read for those who love fantasy, isekai, overpowered MC, power in a strange world, and villain genres, and you will definitely love I Grow Stronger by Eating. Number 2. The Final Raid Boss, Chapter 75+. The protagonist of this manhwa is a renowned gamer who has held the top spot for an extended period of time. However, he has been missing for the past week. It turns out that he was a beta tester for a new MMO game and ended up trapped within the game as an artificial intelligence. The developers attempt to keep this a secret, leaving the main character stuck in the game and grinding to level up. While this manhwa has its strengths, it also has some significant flaws. I would only recommend reading it if you have already read a number of other MMO manhwas, as it may be confusing for those new to the genre. And finally, number 1. The First Hunter. This webtoon is fantastic. The main character, Kim Tae-hoon, is a complex and interesting person. He's a skilled soldier and assassin who found a new purpose in life after the world was overrun by monsters. He decides to form his own clan or guild and protect Korea from monster attacks and foreign invasions. While he's not entirely selfless, he does a lot of good through his actions. There is also an ongoing plot involving Kim Tae-hoon trying to prevent his own death. In this world where monsters and mana exist, historical artifacts have gained special powers. Kim Tae-hoon can see visions of his future death by drinking from a globet or glass that is infused with one of these artifacts. I find it clever how his future self provides hints and clues to his past self on how to avoid his death. So, we have counted down the top 10 manhwa featuring overpowered main characters, but there are surely many more worth checking out. Whether you are looking for the action-packed battles or complex character development, these series have something for everyone. If you are a fan of manhwa, be sure to give some of these a read and discover the limitless potential of an overpowered main character. We love anime signs out. Adios!